Yes, welcome along to episode 10 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365 with David Jennings and Johnny Dineen, counting down to the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. And it was a big Saturday, Johnny, I have to say. Big Saturday for you and your career. It's got to the stage now where you're so famous that you're getting called out live on ITV.
That's right. A fella sent me a video of that, actually. He taped it off the rewound the telly, sent it on to me on Saturday. It's funny, actually, yeah.
So you've poked the bear. You've poked the bear. Paul Nicholls is not happy with Johnny Dineen. What do you have to say for yourself in reply? This is your right to reply,
right,
Johnny.
Okay. Look, the first and foremost thing, anyway, is like when I'm not insulting anybody's like training prowess or whatever, and like when
the man is a legend.
Yeah, absolutely.
A legend of the game, Gold Cup winners.
Absolutely. All I'm only calling it as I see it. Okay, right.
And never change.
Yeah.
Never change.
Listen, and like when you buy a horse, whether it's any good or not is completely out of your control anyway. Do you know what I mean? So it's no slight in a person when I say I don't fancy your horse in a race or whatever. Like there's no insult intended anyway, for first and foremost anyway. Okay, and look. If his horse wins and I'm wrong, I couldn't care less if a fella says to me you haven't a clue. And a lot of the time he's probably right. Do you know what I mean? So
for anybody who didn't see ITV on Saturday, Paul Nicholls texted his daughter Megan, who was on the show on Saturday, and said Johnny Dineen is the worst tipster since Matt Chapman, or words to that effect.
Yeah, exactly. Look,
now I think your bank manager might disagree.
No, but listen. I've had horses myself with people, right, and I've said half a dozen in my life, like with one with one trainer and say 4 or 5 with another one, okay? But I'll just give an example of horses to me anyway. A guy says to me, will we give this for a guy, a horse? I said, we will, okay, go on. So the horse, we bought him out of point to point, he won a point to point. The next thing he was to run somewhere. Now expectations were low anyway, but I got a jockey that I could trust to ride it, okay? So he'd tell me exactly what he thought afterwards. That's fine. Next thing.
Who was that?
Oh, I can't say who it was. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the horse ran, as far as I could see, ran absolutely atrocious now.
Okay.
In my eyes, like, okay, expectations were low, but they weren't this low now, you know what I mean? So I made him the following day.
Hope the horse wasn't held up anyway.
The following day, I met the jockey. I said, look, before you open your mouth, I'll tell you what I think. I think he's not worth a sausage, right? That's my reading.
Okay.
He said, he mightn't be that bad. But he said he's not really what you want, because he might win a race 3 years down the road, like a 0 to 100 handicap horse. I said, that is not what we're interested in.
Game over.
Yeah, rang the trainer and said, look, boom, we're gone. He said, no. He wouldn't know enough about it. I said, stop. I said, the horse worth a flim. I'm not interested. And that was it. So that's the way I look at horses.
Okay.
And if I have a knob horse, I don't mind someone saying it. And basically, now, if you said to me, that horse you have is no good, I wouldn't get upset, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now, if you said to me, I don't like that jumper you're wearing.
And just for viewers watching, right? Johnny wants to know who's the boss. Johnny wants everybody to know who is the boss. You are the boss, Johnny Dineen.
I'm not, no.
And did that horse in question here now turn out to be any good?
Oh, he got a leg or something, and he was. I'd say he was never seen again. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I've had 4 or 5 horses. Every one of them were useless. Like
maybe it's the owner, Johnny.
The only consolation for me was that we never even got an opportunity to back them. They were that bad. You know what I mean? But so I cut short my involvement with them. Once we could establish that they were useless, there were no persevering with these lads.
Do you know what you should do, Johnny? You should send your next horse to Paul Nicholls.
Would he train it for nothing though?
He might, and we'll call it Up in the Ante.
The way we're going, he'd need to.
Listen, let's get on with the show. So folks, before we get stuck into our questions from the crowd, I want to talk to you about a special offer. Yes, Members Club in the Racing Post is the ultimate racing subscription, and you can become a member for the first 3 months with 50% off. All you have to do is click on the link in the video description and you can get 50% off your first 3 months. You've got to become a member of our very special Members Club, because you can read the paper the night before. Yes, the digital newspaper you can read on your phone. I was going like that, Johnny, like as if it's a newspaper, but it's actually like that. So you can read the newspaper on your phone the night before on a laptop. Or you can get tips from our top team of tipsters, and you can read all the news and views from all our experts in the Racing Post. Yeah, 50% off the first 3 months. Just click on the link in the video description. And Johnny, we want people to comment on the show, don't we? We want to know what they think, okay? So don't forget to like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment and share all your views about Johnny Dineen and all things Upping The Ante. So we'll kick off with our questions from the crowd. And the first question this week comes in from Elizabeth Kelly. And it's the question everybody wants to know every week, Johnny Dineen. Did you win or lose this week? Okay, so in the last 7 days, did Johnny Dineen, is he up or down?
I'm actually, since the 1st of January I'm talking about, like New Year anyway, I'm in front. Actually had a reasonably good week.
Really? After authorised speed?
Yeah, but that's only like one bet. Like, do you know what I mean? It's a losing bet, but it's not like I have a lot of bets in the week anyway.
Okay.
You know, so I'm not dependent on one horse to win. You know, that kind of way. But no, I'm very happy with the first week. But I must say one thing. Like I would say one thing. I actually lost last year.
Really?
Yeah, punting myself from January to December. I worked like I keep a track of it every week, and I what I won this week probably knocked out what I lost last year. I didn't lose a lot now, you know what I mean?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, but I did lose, and that's like before we put a bottle of milk in the fridge, you know what I mean? Yeah. So basically...
This is your career.
Yeah, so basically like if Paul Nichols is watching, he's right, I don't have a clue.
Now, Johnny, for somebody that's a tipster and up in the ante, it probably isn't the best promotion for the show.
I know, yeah.
No.
But I'm hoping it's a one-off. I'm hoping it's a one-off.
Tell viewers, right? Genuine now. Don't be modest now, right? What age are you now?
51 or 52.
52. Oh, geez, you forgot that last year, did you?
52. Yeah, 52 since November. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
52. Okay, so you're probably back in horses since you would just say 18. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me do the maths there. So that's 34 years. Okay?
Yeah.
34 years of back in horses. Of those 34 years, how many years of those 34 would you say you ended in profit?
Well, look.
Roughly.
I tell you, I didn't.
I'd say it's 30.
I tell you, I didn't have a clue how to bet until I was about 26 or 7 for starters. So you're doing.
We go 25 years.
25 years.
Of those 25.
I had my first losing year, and it was only marginal in 2019, and this was my second one. So, but no, I had some good years too.
23 out of 25 winning years.
I know, but look. But it's the game a lot harder now at the same time, and a lot of my edges have disappeared really. So it's like one time I was hoping, like you'd be shooting for the stars every year. But now if I can cover my expenses for the year, I'm happy. You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Okay.
But look, that's the way it goes.
Okay, so give us your best and worst result of the last week then. What was your best result that got you in front of the last week?
I'm trying to think now. I had a good bet on that on Sunday actually. Caught Harla, bad price now, but like
Colin Murphy's that won the handicap.
Great price the way it won now, but like I took a bad price. I mean, I took even money at the same time. I mean, yeah, I did, but I was happy that once it won. Like I'd rather take even money than back at the 3 to 1 at the finish. You know that kind of way. I was hoping to be even money, that kind of stuff. Yeah, like you like to see the betting market confirming what you actually think. You know that kind of way. That's the way I always
and won very easily despite a mistake at the last. And obviously, we have to talk a little bit about authorised speed. Bitterly disappointing.
Yeah, like authorised speed ran awful, didn't it? Like really, really bad. And I got caught in the first one of the day.
You didn't, Johnny.
I did.
The Gary Moore favourite, the first Go Zenith.
I started horrific Sunday.
That was short.
I backed that at about 2 to 5 or 4 to 11, and faced into Alistair at about 4 to 9 as well. That got beaten the first race in Cork. Alistair or something in Horse and Mullins's. That was beat by a 20 shot.
So you backed both of them straight?
Yeah, I did, yeah. So I was losing my brains at 12:30, but I got it back to something manageable at the field. I didn't lose very little in the end of the day, because I had authorised speed. I just had to get. No, I didn't have a lot on authorised speed in the end, but I did back him. But there was a race after that. I fancied a horse called Denworth.
Yes, Newcastle.
Yeah, and it was around a 6 to 4 shot, and I was on tilt, and I had like twice what I was intended heavy on it, because I seen it lining up in front. I said, this is going to make the running anyway. This is what I want. So I had a belt off of that, and I backed another horse the same day called Chianti Classico. And that was lucky to win.
Yeah, was he a lucky winner?
I think so. Jeez, I think so. Like I'd have priced the other one favourite anyway when he disappeared at the second last. So that was a bit of luck as well. And another, I was on Jello, and I went down to post 100 mile an hour. I took my money back out of it, that kind of a thing. So I finished up not having a bad day at all Saturday after a bad start. So.
And the key thing in that segment was, out of the last 25 years, Johnny Dineen has been in profit for 23. Our next question this week comes in from Richard Casey, and Richard wants to know, Johnny, what is the biggest cash bet you ever laid while you were a bookie on course? And more importantly, did it win? So the biggest bet you've ever taken?
The biggest bet I've ever taken was... now, I must stipulate, like before I answer this question, I don't lay these kind of bets anymore. I can't
Yeah,
afford
it
to
was
lay them.
when you were-
This
when you
was
were
in
an
the
on-course
boom when there was
bookmaker.
massive betting going on. You know what I mean? And it was every day of the week, and there was real whipping going on. You know what I'm saying? So, like, because in Ireland and in England, there was fierce betting from about 2005 to say about 2009, 10, that kind of stuff. Now, like the bet I'm going to talk about, I can think of one. If I wouldn't be able to lay 10% of that nowadays. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't want to anyway, for starters.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, I had a fella in a hole one year in Cheltenham, a punter of mine, right? He was a great punter, and he was in a hole, and he arrived at the last race of the meeting.
County hurdle.
County hurdle, yeah, exactly. That was the county hurdle. It was the county hurdle, and there was a horse 16 to 1, a horse called Mrs. Potts. So he had a whip off it to try and get out of trouble. So he had 9 grand each way on it with me, right?
What price?
16 to 1. Now, at that time, there was only 4 places.
Yeah.
It was only 4 places. It finished 5th, right? It finished. Now, like, I'd have to pay out them nowadays. That's the difference, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because these guys are given 5 places and all that. But it was the only horse I was watching all the way around, you know what I mean? No, I backed it back to win 50 grand and the win, so I had to stand it for around 100, so roughly around that anyway. Now, like, as I said, I don't bet like that anymore. I can't afford to bet like that. Nobody bets like that anymore because there's not that kind of liquidity or volume of betting around. Anyway, so I was watching it all the way around anyway. Even when the race was over, I'm looking down the track to see where it is, because you're only watching the screen, and you're looking down the track and say, where is she? She was in the battle for 4th, do you know what I mean? And next thing I say, oh geez, she's only 5th, beautiful, like, you know what I mean? So
what won the race? Can you remember?
Silver Jarrah won it.
Silver Jarrah,
Yeah,
Philip Rothwell.
No, it was Tom Hogan.
Oh, Tom Hogan, sorry, yeah.
50 to 1 shot. Your man should have won it.
Psycho.
Psycho, should have
Psycho,
bolted
Tony
it.
Martin, yeah.
Carberry gave it a stinker. He was sitting up on it.
Big fan of the show, Paul Carberry.
But next thing, my brother was clerking for me, and he put in the result. And the next thing, boom, 50 to 1 as well. Like, it was a Beano result as well as everything else. But like, I wasn't. I swear to God, once they went by the line, I was only interested in how was Mrs. Potts performing. You know what I mean? That kind of way.
Yeah.
But there was another year. There was another year in Punchestown. Same guy. He used to turn up at kind of the festival. He wasn't an every day of the week punter now, right now. He'd only turn bed every now and then. You know what I mean? He was a big player now, and like, this was real money. This was Monday to Monday. This wasn't like Monopoly stuff that nobody ever paid. You know what I mean? Like, we'd settle over Monday. So he comes to Punchestown. Max Joy, I thought it was a good thing in the Irish Champion Hurdle one year. He's 40 grand under me, 7 to 4, right? So I fancied myself. I have about 16 on it myself, okay? No, I wouldn't have 16 grand on a horse now in a million years nowadays. But that time you would. But anyway, so at the same time he comes along and he has 2.5 grand each way. The outsider in the race is a horse called Silent Oscar, 33 to 1. And
I know what happened next. We don't need Sue Barker to tell us.
Yeah, but next thing I'm watching it up in the box and making the book there, and I'm on Max Joy. They're coming down to the last together, and I said, Garrett, he looks like he has him. You know what I mean? I said, go on, Jesus, go on, for Jesus' sake. So it might hit the lead with 100 yards to go, and the next thing, the other yoke battles back in the inside and beats it. So now I have to pay all his money and my money, and I finish up doing my hoop to him as well on top of that. But the thing about it was, all the bookies were cheering, hands up in the air and everything, and I was like, oh God, I could not breathe.
How do you recover from something like that?
How you'd recover in about 5 minutes in a situation like that, you know what I mean? You would. Do you know what I mean? I'm used to getting battered all my life, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Savage mental strength.
Well, you need to have mental, you do.
Resolve,
you need the mental strength is right, yeah. And then on top of that, like, you need to have a tank at the time to be able to, that it doesn't kill you either, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you have a big tank at the time, it don't matter as such, like, it's not as, but if you're going desperate,
So
like,
back when Silent Oscar won the Punchestown Champion Hurdle that day, were you married at the time, or were you going out with your missus?
that'd be about, I'd say
20 years ago, maybe? More, maybe?
Is it 20 years ago?
Probably about 20 years ago. Around 2005-ish, 7 time, yeah.
Yeah, so
maybe 18 years ago.
I'm married to her about 15 years.
Okay, so my question was, you're driving home, and she, hi darling, hi sweetheart, how'd you go today, sweetheart? Not great. So what do you tell her on the phone?
I sure look, she never even mentions figures or anything like that, you know what I mean? I rarely ever, like, if I ever read, maybe twice a year or once a year even, I'd have an absolute stinking day, right? And I might come in back, I could be upstairs or come down to the house. Next thing I'd say to her, look, I've had an absolute horrific day. I don't want my dinner. I'm going to bed. I'll actually go in the back room. Is that okay? And she said, that's great. And wake up in the morning, it's like nothing happened. So that's the way I operate anyway, you know what I mean? But that's only a one day a year kind of a situation. Like normally I can take any loss in the chin anyway, you know what I mean? Like really, yeah. So, but look, that's the
I
way.
wonder how many times you sent into the spare room, not of your own accord.
that's from snoring, yeah.
So there you go. That is the biggest cash bet Johnny Dineen has ever laid. Our next question this week comes in from Warren Fogarty, and Warren wants to know, with Champ Kiley and Irish Point filling the first 2 places in the Lauders of Naas novice hurdle, Johnny Dineen, are you worried about Facile Vega being your banker of all bankers at the Cheltenham Festival in Supreme because of Marine Nationale, who beat both Irish Point and Champ Kiley in the Royal Bond at Fairyhouse? That form is looking strong, Johnny Dineen.
Yes, it is. Yeah, you must. You'd have to admit that. Look, the fact that the Royal Bond form was carried into the Lauders of Naas definitely points to Marine Nationale's chances, and it's very likely that I have underestimated him. I would have thought I have anyway. Saying that, like, fellas are cribbing about crabbing Facile Vega and his bumper form. I don't see much wrong with his bumper form now, to be fair. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, people are probably a little bit worried about the champion bumper form. It hasn't really worked out.
Yeah, I suppose, but like the champion bumper was running a quagmire at the same time. You know what I mean? So, I hadn't the notion of laying Facile Vega going to Cheltenham last year. Not a notion of it. And the conditions were so bad when the time of the race come. Like there was people out walking the track was it even going to be on even, you know what I mean? Like they were going dotting around bends and all that kind of stuff. I said, sure, geez, anything can happen here in a minute. So I finished up laying it at 2-1. Like got caught again, the usual stuff. But anyway.
No, you've won for 23 of the last 25 years.
Yeah, but anyway.
Cat is out of the bag.
Look, like Facile Vega, to me, his form against Sander, Clegane and Leopardstown that's his best run in my eyes anyway. And it's like that was when he really showed him to be a top horse. Like, put it this way, like I'm not saying Marine Nationale isn't a credible opponent. He is, and his form is looking solid, is right. But like on bumper form, there's no comparison. Like Marine Nationale was 6-4 on in Killarney in a 4-horse race. Your man was 11-8 on in the champion bumper in Punchestown, or in
but you can only beat what's put in front of
you.
you.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, exactly. And like the form going from one meeting to another is an indicator that he is a good horse. Marine Nationale is right. Saying that I think no horse will beat Facile Vega. I couldn't care less about Marine Nationale or any form.
So what would you say then? We have a live show on a Saturday, Racing Post Live. What would you say then to our very own Robbie Wilders, who might be watching the show, who proclaimed after Timurus won the Tolworth that Facile Vega was the lay of the festival? What would you say to him? Here's your chance to reply.
I think Facile Vega is a certainty. No, that's what I do. But I might be wrong. Or like as Paul Nicholas is right, but I'm wrong regular on a regular basis.
But you're still standing firm. You think he'll win the Supreme?
I don't care what Marine Nationale or any other horse's form or whatever. Like this Ashrow Diamond is you can tie in that horse into both horses anyway. Ashrow Diamond was 4th to Marine Nationale in Fairyhouse, and like admittedly not even put in the race against Facile Vega in Leopardstown. But like got within about 7 or 8 lengths of Marine Nationale at least, maybe even closer in the Royal Bond. Like I'd say if you went down to Mullins's, I'm guessing anyway, that how would Ashrow Diamond be fixed with Facile Vega? They'd be rolling around the ground laughing. Would they not? Like I think there'd be absolutely zero comparison. So look, as I said, I don't see anything that can touch Facile Vega, Marine Nationale included. Although he is a good horse, of course he is. Yeah.
So you're a small bit concerned, but not really worried at all.
No, I think if Facile Vega will do his business, he will win.
There you go, Warren. Johnny hasn't changed his tune at all. It's Facile Vega all the way for Mr. Dineen in the Supreme. And our final question this week comes in from Richie Purdy. And Richie wants to know, Johnny, should we still be taking the British form with a pinch of salt? Because in the last few years at the Cheltenham Festival, it just hasn't worked out. So Tolworth, obviously, Paul Nichols won, your buddy, has won the last 3 Grade 1s in England. The Shallow, obviously, with Hermes Allen. Timurus won the Tolworth, and he also won the King George with Brave Man's Game. So the last 3 Grade 1s in England, Paul Nichols has won. Should we be taking this British form with a pinch of salt?
No, I wouldn't say so. I mean, like, if you look at like I'd fancy the British horses would probably do a bit better this year. I think they'll look
more than 10, yeah.
What did they have 10 last year?
10, yeah. 18-10 was the final
18,
score.
10, yeah. I'd say I'd be going over 10 if I was guessing. Okay. Like if you look at this year, you have John Bond, just the first day alone. John Bond, you've Constitution Hill, you've Marie's Rock, and Love Envoy in the same race.
Yeah.
Like if Brandy Love doesn't turn up for the mare's race, the English horses will nearly win that, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
So
Of course, Honeysuckle is not going to run now.
The Ultima is always won by an English horse. That's 4. So they could be leading this like Pressbury, whatever the Pressbury Cup thing, going in and on the second day. After that, now they get a bit thinner. But you still have you've probably Hermé Allen. You will
have Time Hill in the Brown Advisory.
You'll have Edward Stone. There's only going to be 72 chance maybe at the minute in the champion chase.
The bumper is wide open at the minute.
It is. It's not beyond the bounds of possibility.
Queen's Gamble.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no Irish horse like really has put a marker down in that race yet anyway. Plus all these handicaps, they're not saying they win. They'll win a share of them at the same time anyway. So
Johnny, could there be more home winners than away winners?
Oh no, that would probably wouldn't have thought that'd happen now, but. Was it only 18-10 last year?
It was 18-10,
and it was some year like it was.
Well, there were. I think they won the first 4 races last year.
Okay, but like, what? Yeah, I suppose. Look, you'd be saying in around 10 again. Like 14 gets them a draw, doesn't it?
It does. If there's 28 races, Johnny, 14 gets them a draw.
Yeah. So like they're not going to win.
He was a bookmaker.
Yeah. So look, I'd say in around the 10 again. Like I'd be saying maybe.
16-12, I thought. If you're having a bet now, I go 16-12.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a thing I'd bet on now, but like it's like betting the score on the Ryder Cup, isn't it? Like it's just so many different combinations, permutations that can happen. Look, I don't know. I'd say around the 10 mark again. I'd say it's about the same challenge as last year, you know.
But it's not going to be a complete
greenwash. Not at all. No, not at all. Like put it this way, if you had to say, if you picked 3 Irish horses. And I picked 3 English ones, you'd bet that the 3 English horses will win more races than the 3 obvious Irish horses, would you not?
Well, if you're saying Constitution Hill, John Bon, and just say Hermes Allen, right?
Yeah, okay.
Them 3, you're probably up against Facile Vega, Energumene.
Okay, all right, yeah. Forget that rubbish. Forgot about him.
And final part of the question then, while we're on the team, how many winners will Paul Nicholls have at the festival?
Look, as I said, I'm not being disrespectful, but I'm still not changing.
You're still going with 0?
I'd say 1 or 0. And if you pick, I'd nearly chance 0, I think. 1 or 0. 1. I don't think you'll get 2 anyway.
Okay, there you go, Paul. No 2 winners for you at the Cheltenham Festival. So it's Performance of the Week time here on Upping The Ante, where Johnny Dineen counts down his top 3 performances of the last 7 days. So take it away, number 3.
Number 3 for me was a horse that didn't even actually win.
I thought you were going to say a horse that didn't actually run.
No, it didn't win.
Okay.
I go with Irish Point, in that the horse that was second in the Lawlers on Ace. I thought that if it gave the 4th last, what should have been the 4th last, a real rattle altogether, and that set it back a bit. It was trapped out wide. The winner got first run. Like I could see that reversing form with Cham Kiley if they meet again, and the ground might have been against it too. Irish Point's a better horse than I thought he was. No, to be fair, I thought he ran really, really well, and he was out in the middle of the track, and he stuck at it well. Now I didn't fancy him much in that race at all, to be honest. I could see him like in an open enough looking Ballymore. He's a runner. I think he's more of a runner than Cham Kiley in the Ballymore, if you know what I'm saying.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Like it was only his 1, 2. This was his 3rd run over hurdles. I thought it was a very, very respectable effort now, to be honest. And like he looks like a horse that'd be better on nicer conditions, I'd have thought now, you know. I'd rate him Irish Point. He's a decent horse.
And he kept at it.
Oh, he did. That's what I liked about him. I didn't say, I was looking at him and said, you won't even get the trip or nothing, this horse, you know what I mean? But he did stay at it now, he's right, yeah, because I actually took something out of him, like, and you wouldn't take your eye off him going to the line either. Like I was saying to you, man, like, Jesus, keep the fill in front going, please, you know what I mean? That kind of way. Okay,
so number 3 is Irish Point. Number 2?
Number 2 was Tamurus in the Talworth hurdle.
Now, Paul, bit of recognition for you.
Yeah, no, I listen, it wasn't a brilliant weekend now for top class racing, but like Tamurus to me stuck at it well. It's a good tough horse anyway, you know what I mean? Like he might be a level below the real top horses possibly, but he stuck at it well, and like like Sandown is a tough finish. And like he clocked both of the last 2 hurdles, like, and it wasn't enough to stop him. And fellas were saying to me, sure, if they went another 100 yards, he would have won.
He would have won.
Yeah, he would have won. Yeah.
Now, the second is a good horse, Last Boy. I said that to you last week.
Now the race admittedly did fall asunder because like Arctic Brazil was beat after about 2 hurdles. Yeah, and authorised speed. Okay, it ran dire. Like but it could have gone at the first 2 hurdles even, authorised speed. It was up in the air and all kinds of stuff. But no, it fizzled out of it. I'm assuming that's not his running, but maybe it is. But Tamura's a good, tough, and he looked tough in Haydock too, because he's able to get down and dirty. Like, to me, he's probably he's a 2.5 mile horse, if anything, more than likely. But he's a good, strong, staying horse anyway, and he was impressive in the finish.
I thought Paul made a good comparison. He's more in the lowland kind of category, I'd say. Greatest ride Ruby Walsh ever gave a horse, by the way. Noland, Supreme. Watch it. Incredible ride.
Yeah.
He's more in that type. He's going to be staying on at the end of Supreme, isn't
Yeah, he is. But you'd imagine he'd be staying on for a place rather than actually winning it, you would think anyway.
Well, you hope anyway, Johnny. With
I look as regards the danger to Facile Vega, I wouldn't have thought so, no. But but saying that he's entitled to take his chances. He's only 10-1 shot at the same time.
Absolutely. So number 2 is Tamuras, and number 1,
number 1
has to be appreciated.
No, I should appreciate only went round a school round. I went with Love Envoy.
Yes.
In Sandown.
Yes.
The ground in that place was horrific, as I said earlier. It glided over it, right? And his jumping was magnificent. Now, I know I'd only beat Martello Sky.
But still, Martello Sky's right in the 140s.
He's not a bad animal, but you would rarely see a horse win, finish full of running kind of the way it did. And it was on the bridle coming to the last, you know what I mean? That kind of way. And it puts itself in with a real chance in the mare's hurdle now. I think the English horses are starting to get a stranglehold in that mare's hurdle now, to be honest. And Marie, I'd fancy Marie's Rock to beat it, to be honest. But as I said, if Brandy Love doesn't start appearing out of hibernation, then that race is heading for England, I would have thought. Yeah. But Love Envoy, I didn't back it now because I was after hitting 2 scuds already, and it was very hard to face into a third one. You know what I mean? when you're after betting a 5-2 losers, it's not that easy to hit for a third one. No. And I was saying to myself, I can't back this now. Just to regroup. But if you did back it, you never had a moment's worry. No, really, no.
Yeah, absolutely, no. I have to say, Love Envoy, a big player. Tom Park in the Racing Post, big fan of Love Envoy. He put everybody on Love Envoy very, very early on for this year's race, and he looks like he's got a little bit of value there. So there you go. Performance of the week from Johnny Dineen is last year's Mayor's Novice Hurdle winner at the Cheltenham Festival, Love Envoy. Now, Johnny Dineen got a lot of traction on social media last week with his Eyecatcher of the week with Ed Chamberlain following you in at the start of the season with Klitschko. So we're going to look out for Klitschko wherever he appears next. So there's great interest this week, Johnny, in your Eyecatcher of the week. Have you found a good one for us? I've found a one that should be winning anyway. You know what I mean? You're not as excited as you were last week. No, it's not as good as horse Klitschko. The horse I picked actually was a horse called Quirk's Gate. Quirk's Gate, okay. Yeah, it's a horse of Barry Connell's. It was second to Hunter's Yarn. It was never ever threatening second now at the same time. Now Hunter's Yarn, that race was over after about a hurdle or two. But I think it was over when the second favourite came out, I think. Yeah, exactly. But it was a 4-1 on or whatever price it was. But if you did bet 4 on it, you were never worried. Did you? I bet 5. It was 5-1 on the computer, I'm sure. Yeah, it was. Did you back it? I did. I'm a martyr for those yokes. but I found that with punting, just on a separate point, I'll go back to the horse in a second. You get conditioned into betting those because you're not allowed back outsiders anymore for big stakes. Yeah. Do you know? So I normally wouldn't. 10 years ago I would have looked at the 5-1 shot and pay commission and everything, all that kind of stuff. But nowadays you've no option but to bet them horses. Either have no bet or back them. That's basically it. Okay. Anyway, the horse I'm talking about is Quirk's Gate. It was second to Hunter's Yarn. There was money for it. Big money, each way money on the show. Look, it was each way the way it was ridden anyway because it was never ever put into the race. And it was. I just thought of actually. Remember we were on about betting without the favourite. Yeah. If you backed it without the favourite, you couldn't have ridden it any better yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe it was Michael O'Sullivan the road. Yeah, he rode it. Maybe he watched the show. Maybe they did a forecast or something. I couldn't tell you. But Top Hill Low tried its hardest to beat the favourite, and the next thing. Up little Quirk's Gate poops up its inside with about 100 yards to go and nods it for second place. But I thought it finished well. It was at least value for another few lengths closer to Hunter's Yarn. It's by Blue Brazil. It has 2 runs on back along 2 years ago, 6 twice and 2 maiden hurdles. The one problem with this horse would be the bounce factor. That would be a bit of a worry now. You know what I mean? You wouldn't like to see him run too quickly. The fact that he had a break for a couple of years, but he's a surefire winner of a maiden hurdle, and he'd have no penalty for winning the bumper. So if he went down the country to place like Turles, he'd be certainly in a race down there anyway. Okay. And the name of that horse is Quirk's Gate. Yeah, Quirk's Gate. So what you want to know now is what's happening this week. And we're going to preview 5 races on Saturday. Kicking off at Warwick with the Hampton Novices Chase, Johnny. Looks a reasonably open contest.
Yeah, it's a fair little race. It's a fair race. I thought you could boil it down to, like, I don't even know what's running, obviously, but the winner will come from, I'd say, City Chief, Complete Unknown, a horse of Nichols.
I was impressed by him at Foss last, because Bout to Greatness travelled all over him, he kept finding,
He gave First Lord the go-away first run and cut it down well, actually, there's another, Marler's Mission, there was 2 Irish horses in this, Marler's Mission, I don't know how they come now, Marler's Mission is one of them, and Manila Crooner. Well, we don't have to worry about Manila Crooner getting mixed up anymore now anyway. Yeah, so
he's out for the season.
So Manila Crooner, they're the 4 I thought the winner would come from. Look, Marler's Mission, I thought had a great chance in this race. Yeah, like he has a victory over Complete Unknown in Perth over hurdles. Saying that he's running quick, like he ran in the 31st in Punchestown, and he's running quick, like you're talking less than 2 weeks. It's not a lot for a 3-mile race. The other ones...
what about Manila Crooner here? Because I think this could be interesting by Gordonellia. I have no idea what they're thinking there in the line. But could they be trying to get him qualified for National Hunt Chase?
But have they not got Chemical Energy for that race already, no?
They do, yeah.
Yeah. But would maybe they're going for Kim Muir or whatever? I don't have the clue.
Maybe,
yeah. Look, Manila Crooner...
He's an out-and-out stayer, a good jumping, out-and-out stayer.
Yeah. But he's been a bit disappointing over fences, hasn't he? Even though he beat I Am Maximus, like I Am Maximus turned out to be some rag in Leopardstown at the same time. Look, he's a kind of...
he's run 2 races over fences. He's been beating a Schnott in a Grade 2, and he's won a beginner's chase.
But on his hurdles form, he should be beating Darren's Hope at the same time. You know what I mean? But look,
you haven't forgiven him, Johnny.
No,
you haven't forgiven him.
That was a painful one. Now, yeah.
Oh, I can tell.
I hate getting beat when you think you've definitely won. You know
what I mean?
And like I know, as I said, I don't mind getting beaten, but when you think it's in the bag, you know what I mean?
Okay.
When you're saying to yourself, this has won, and next thing, it hasn't won.
Sickener.
Yeah.
I think Manila Crooner, if he does show up here,
he's a chance. Yeah. No, I'm not saying he hasn't a chance.
He's a good jumper. Warwick will suit him, and he stays. So I think it could be a good piece
I
of
think
place.
City Chief is a good horse.
Oh,
really? Good horse, yeah. Like he nearly fell behind Jelena. There was a 2-horse race in Exeter, nearly fell behind Jelena Bella. Complete Unknown is fair too. Like he won that final in Sandown. It's a tricky race actually. It's if they all
one to leave alone.
If they all stood their ground, they wouldn't have any betting it there. Put it that way.
Okay, the Leamington Novice Hurdle, and a horse that we both like, I know, is Javega from the Gary Moore stable. If Javega showed up here, obviously you're hurt from authorised speed last week. Could you give a Gary Moore novice another chance here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you could definitely saying that if you hadn't a winner between Saturday and now, you'd be a bit worried at the same time. But he probably won't turn up if their stable is under a cloud.
Yeah.
Like he even pulled out a horse in Sandown in the last race last Saturday because to think they might have a virus. It's a bit late for me now, Gary, at the same time.
You caught the virus.
I was in respiratory distress at home, yeah. Yeah, look, this is a tricky race as well.
Yeah, Gordon Elliott has Landrake potentially, and San Tonito.
There's Gavega, there was a horse of Tom Lacey's that won a maiden hurdle, Gilly's Destiny or something like that. The one I went down in was Gavega, but again, like, it's a long way, a lot of water on the bridge here on Saturday, and you'd like the horses to be in some kind of form anyway, that they'd be having a winner or two beforehand before you'd face. He's the horse I would have picked now at the same time, but it is a tough race.
Okay, skipping across to London to Kempton for the Silviniaco Conti Chase. Shishkin was supposed to run here, doesn't run here. It looks a penalty kick for Pic Dory.
Do you think so?
Oh, I do, yeah. Why, you think he'll do a Harry Kane, do you?
No, I think Pic Dory and Paint the
Dream,
are the main. Like I was looking at Angel's Breath. I know that horse from somewhere. Angel's Breath.
Yeah.
And next thing
it's the horse that formerly trained by Nick Henderson.
I remember I was telling Goodwin about Angel's Breath. We were in Cheltenham and one year, and there were Hills given that fantastic concession. 7 places they were paying on the Supreme Novices.
Bet365 give good concessions as well sometimes. Yeah.
But they don't like this. This is nearly the concession of the century, isn't it? 7 places, about a 10-horse race.
Bet365 do good concessions as well.
Okay, right. But anyway, he finished 7th. We got our money back. You know what I mean? After backing him each way. We were waiting for him for about half an hour to come up to the line. But anyway, I was looking at him, like, he's gone from Nicky Henderson. He's off 3 years. You couldn't really fancy that now. But I thought
I'm surprised you don't fancy Pic Dory.
I'll tell you what I think about Pic Dory. And then as I think, I looked at
He's trained with Paul Nichols.
No. He's a good travelling jumping horse, right? I think if it comes to a struggle, he mightn't be the most resilient of characters.
He's won a lot of races recently.
He has. He is. But I think good ground, or the nearest thing to good ground, is pretty important. Now, Kempton never really gets that soft-ish, just normally. But I think the forecast for the week is bad.
It is bad.
Yeah. And if it comes up as slog, I'd fancy the other one to beat it, Paint the Dream. Yeah.
Okay. A race I like, I have to say, later on the card at Kempton, I like it. I have a good record in the race. It's one of the rare races I have a good record in. The Lanzarote Hurdle.
Okay.
I like one in this. 14 to 1 with Bet365. I like Harbour Lake for Alan King and Tom Cannon. I think he'd been crying out for this trip. He was just too keen last time. He ran in the handicap hurdle that Romeo Brown won at Aintree. Walking on Air was in it. He was just a little bit keen for my liking the early part of the race. And he never really settled until a few hurdles in. Third in the Great Wood. Thought he ran a lovely race in the Great Wood. Loved the way he kept on up the straight. I think flat track, like he won his first couple of races at Wetherby. I think flat track, this sort of trip, 2 mile 5, a fast pace where you'd be allowed to settle. I think Harbour Lake is a massive player. I think he's unexposed over hurdles. I think he's well handicapped. Harbour Lake for me at 14 to 1 in the Lanzarote.
Yeah, I looked at this race. I said I haven't a bad record in myself either. I'd say never had a bet in my life, so I've never lost any money in it. But I'm gonna go with if I had to pick one just for a speculative bet, it'd be Dubrovnik Harry.
Yeah,
I think that's not a bad horse, and they went chasing with it, and it didn't really perform. It ran in Exeter. Now they've looked like they've shelved the chasing for this year. It's a pretty lightly raced horse. I think it's dangerous little lurker at around 16 to 1.
Okay.
Like, as I said, I would be having very little on it now.
There you go, 16 to 1 and 14 to 1 tip for the Lanzarote Hurdle. And on home soil at Fairyhouse, we've got the Dan and Joan Moore Memorial Handicap Chase, one of the big handicap chases over 2 miles in Ireland. And I like one here, Johnny.
Do you?
Do you?
I do. And I normally wouldn't be mad about these kind of races, but I do. I fancy horse a good thing in one of these races, actually. In this race, yeah. Yeah.
Is it in familiar green and gold
It
silks?
is.
Oh, it's the same horse.
Yeah, I'd say
is
so.
Is it Cade Boy?
It is. Yeah, it is.
Cade Boy.
I like Cade Boy. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Explain. Do you want to give your case or
Look, the last day I ran in one of these races, and I kind of missed the price. It went to quite
9 to 4.
Yeah, quite short. I said I'll leave it. I won't bother with it. And like coming to about the fourth, I was saying I should have backed it. It's going to bolt in here. You know what I mean? And it absolutely rooted the fence, didn't it? Like
incredible mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. And it did well to the as close as it did. No, he didn't knock spots off it afterwards
I think
either.
he was only beaten 4 or 5
That's
lengths.
all. Yeah. Like it was a shuddering error, and surely if it had jumped it, like he'd have been taking a pull out of it, turning into the straight. It was going to be going that easy. I think it's well capable of winning these races. It's £10 lower than it was over hurdles. Even its run against Impervious and Wexford is decent.
Yeah.
I think it's a lovely racing way too. It's about 10 stone 3 or something.
He's 135, isn't he?
Yeah, and he was 145 over hurdles.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he's actually getting his ground for.
And on top of that, all his best runs nearly have been at Fairyhouse. He won a big,
was
second in a big handicap hurdle at Fairyhouse.
I think he'll win, and now he ain't going to be like a marvellous price. He'll still be probably 3 to 1 at the same time. You know what I mean? But he's running against a whole host of exposed old stuff as well, and they've big weights giving him weight. I fancy him anyway. I fancy him fairly strong.
Yeah, me too. There you go. That's Cade Boy in the big race at Fairyhouse on Saturday, and that's what's happening this week. So now it's time for DJ versus Johnny, our weekly charity bet competition. No luck last week, Johnny. Let's just say it went, I wouldn't say it went bad. It went absolutely horrendously. Right. Our 2 charity bets. Authorised speed.
Yeah, that ran awful.
Yeah,
awful.
And so I went for Sir Ivan in the Veterans Handicap Chase, and for 3/4 of the race I was like, oh, and then it was like lights out. It was like, do you know when you go to order a pint at the end of a night and you think you might get it?
Right.
But not only did I not get the pint, the lights were switched off, I was kicked out in a matter of seconds.
Okay,
it went from
right.
0 to 0 like that. Okay, so Sir Ivan was no good in the Veterans Handicap Chase. But I'm going big again this week, Johnny.
Okay.
14 to 1 with Bet365. It's too big of a price about Harbour Lake in the Lanzarote Hurdle at Kempton on Saturday, the 240. I'd be shocked if it didn't go off a single figure price anyway. Flat track, 2 mile 5, Kempton. Hopefully Tom Cannon gets him to settle in the early part of the race. I think he's unexposed. I think he's well handicapped. And I think Harbour Lake can win the Lanzarote hurdle in a rare race that I've got a good record in. So if it continues, Johnny, I'll have 750 quid for a charity, and I might win this competition outright.
Okay, that would be a killer blow for me now. I'd be going.
That would.
I'm going to pick Cade Boy for that Dan Moore race. It's a 2:12 on Saturday. I just think he will win one of these races at some stage. You know what I mean? I'm hoping it'll be Saturday. Like as I said, he won't go be wild price. He's probably 3 to 1 shot, something similar to the last day, whatever price he was. Look, I think he's the horse to beat. Definitely, I wouldn't put up anything to beat him anyway. That kind of way.
Okay, there you go. Hopefully, Bet365 will be generous about their price for Cade Boy in the 2:12 at Fairyhouse on Saturday. And as I said, my charity bet is Harbour Lake in the 2:40 at Kempton, a 14 to 1 Bet365. So now it's time for the picks, where myself and Johnny Dineen pick out our next tip for the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. And Johnny, I'm going to give you the floor this week. And can I just say to viewers, last week we played a little bit safe, 9 to 2 and 4 to 1. We got a little bit edgy, I think, after a few Hail Marys. But we're going big. Yeah, we're going big or going home this week anyway, Johnny, because we've got a 40 to 1. Yes, 4-0 to 1 tip from Johnny Dineen and a 20 to 1 tip from myself. So
I don't pick too many 40 to 1 shots, as viewers will know.
40 to 1. And like, am I right in saying you fancy this horse?
Yeah, I am. It's the horse is called Am I Right?
See what I did there?
Yeah, I do. I see it.
Am I Right? National Hunt Chase 40 to 1. Bet365. Explain.
I just think this horse is improving and improving steadily, improving markedly in my eyes. Anyway, I'll tell you why I do fancy. I backed him in a novice chase in Fairyhouse. It beat Secret She Keeps all out. Absolutely unconscious, beat it by
Gordon Elliott's fell, I think, at the
the whole race fell asunder.
Grandwa.
Yeah, it's a magnificent leopard, this horse, magnificent, great jumper. But took all day to put away there, but eventually it won it anyway. Then it ran against Darren's Hope and Manila Crooner. There was money for that. It ran all right that down the third. But the thing that gets me about the horse is I was impressed with the way it was going when it was knocked out, when she was knocked out of the saddle. Yeah. I know that's a long way out, right? Yeah. But to me, it was going as well as the favourite, if not better, when it was put away out of the race. Like I actually laid that favourite, and at that fence, like Jack Kennedy makes a horrific bloomer on the three-stripe life and knocks the Rachel Blackmore out of the saddle on Am I Right? So effectively ended the contest really as such. But like I thought Am I Right was running away when that happened, and is a strong stayer. Yeah. Now I don't know is it going for this race or not. Maybe it won't. It might, like in an open year, they might even run it in the RSA or the Brown Advisory or whatever they call it. Yeah. But I would say they would have no problem getting an extreme distance. Like it's like a horse that could finish up in an Irish National or something like that. Yeah. You know, that kind of way. But I'm going to chance it for the National Hunt Chase at a big price, just as a speculative bet. If it turns up, I think it has. Like put it this way, if it ran against Chemical Energy in a race, I'd nearly back it to beat Chemical Energy.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there you go. Well, there's people giving out, Johnny. Oh, doubles with Facile Vega and Energymine, and doubles with Facile Vega and Sir Gerhard. They can't be given out this week, Johnny Dineen. Johnny has knocked it out of the park. A 40 to 1 tip for the National Hunt Chase to Cheltenham Festival. It is Am I Right? Well, Johnny, I hope you're right.
Yeah, hopefully. I
hope you're right. And mine is, compared to Johnny's, mine is only I don't know what I'd call my tip, Johnny. I thought I was going for a big one. It is a 20 to 1 shot in the Martin Pipe hurdle for conditional jockeys, and it is I Know the Way You're Thinking. And I'm hoping I know the way Gavin Cromwell is thinking, and he's thinking about the Martin Pipe for I Know the Way You're Thinking. Look, I think he's a lovely novice. Won his first 2 races. Impressive, I thought. Did well to beat Lot of Joy at Cork. I know Lot of Joy made a mistake at second last, but he still beat her fair and square that day. Next time out, beat Imagine at Gorham Park and Spanish Harlem. And again, did well to win, I thought, that day. And on Sunday in the Lawlers of Naas, he was probably, apart from the front 2, obviously, he was the one I took out of the race. I just thought I liked the way he travelled through the race. I just said to myself afterwards, he's not going to win a Ballymore. No. He's not going to win an Albert Bartlett. He is just the perfect type of horse that you want for the Martin Pipe. He's got a touch of class. I like the way you're thinking actually ran in the Martin Pipe a few years ago. I think he was brought in early, wasn't he?
That's right, he brought on the first, yeah.
He's a touch of class. He's unexposed. He's generally a good jumper. And I like the fact that he's going to have like a graded run in a grade 1 under his belt going into the Martin Pipe. He should have no problem getting into the race. I think he registered a Racing Post rating of 130 when he won at Gorham Park against Imagine. So he should get in the
Yeah.
130s, you'd imagine, in the Martin Pipe. So there you go, 20-1 with Bet365. I know the way you're thinking for the Martin Pipe. So Johnny, let's have a look at our picks so far. You'll see them scrolling down the screen in front of you here. What would you say your best pick is? So the best value pick so far, what would you say?
The best pick, my best pick so far, and I know fellas be cribbing about the doubles, the best pick is definitely the double Energamine and Facile Vega. Like
10-1.
Yeah, sure. Like that double isn't even
5-2 now.
Yeah, probably. So like value-wise, that's the best pick I've picked anyway. So like I put this way, if I was allowed to be having Facile Vega be in every horse in a double, but sure I'm not. So it's not everybody's cup of tea. But value-wise, that is the best pick without question.
Yeah, 10-1. Energamine and Facile Vega in a double. I would say, looking at my list here now, I would say appreciate it at 10-1. I still think is decent value. Hopefully he'll run in the race.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he has ran twice over 2 miles now for William Paul this season suggests to me they're thinking of him as an Ireland.
Oh yeah, maybe
I think he's the best of that bunch. No matter what distance it is, I think he's the best.
Well, he's the horse with the most ability back along anyway. Like I mean he won the Supreme Novices by half the track at the same time. You know what I mean? And like he was second favourite at Champion Hurdle. Like the other horses wouldn't be second favourites in Champion Hurdles at the same time. You know?
Yeah.
So like ability wise, you couldn't question him. Whether it all depends on what happens.
You still think he's going to step up and trip, don't you?
I think he's likely to step up and trip now. I think if you do fancy him for the Arkle, you need what's he called, Jam de Burley. James de Burley.
James de Burley. Yeah.
You need him to perform at 2.5 miles.
Yeah.
I think that's critical for a fella that's on appreciated for the Arkle. Because if they don't have something solid for the 2.5 mile, they'll have to put one of the 2 milers in there.
Okay, that's pretty. Sander Kilgen 18-1 for the Albert Bartlett. Hopefully he'll go there, and I think he's a good horse, Sander Kilgen.
I do too. Yeah, do too. Will he be good enough to win it? But he should be knocking on the door at the same time. You know.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Hopefully there's a winner somewhere amongst them there. But that is a look at our picks for the 2023 Cheltenham Festival. So that's it, folks. That's it for episode 10 of Up. Can you believe we've got to episode 10, Johnny?
Yeah.
Has it flown by, or has it been
torture?
torture?
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's perfect. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Have you a big week ahead? You do, actually. You do. It's a big week in the Dineen household this week. Explain to viewers what's happening this week.
My oldest girl is 18 on Friday.
What's her name?
Sophie.
Sophie, happy birthday, Sophie.
Yeah,
Does she watch?
No, I wouldn't think so. No, she wouldn't.
Why would you? Why would you watch? Your dad is a hotshot celebrity. Why would you bother?
I'm lucky my kids have no interest in betting anyway, which is a help, you know. So no, she wouldn't be watching, but she 18, and so
have you bought her a present yet?
I think we're going to do something about it tomorrow, me and my missus. So we'll
hope you have a big tank.
We'll get something for her anyway. Now she's not that easily pleased at the same time.
Really?
When they get to that age, like they don't be looking for 5s and 10s anymore, do they? No. Like really, you know. So
has she another half?
She has a boyfriend. Yeah. She's a boyfriend. Yeah, she has. She's very happy.
How do you get on?
Look, Grant. I wouldn't care. Look, he seems like a grand young fella anyway. You know what I mean? And he doesn't interfere in my life anyway. So he's grand. Of course he is. But look. I might have to bring her into a few pubs to introduce her to fellas that I know, like people that have the pubs around the town. Yeah. She's probably been in them. She's probably I'd be saying, "This is my daughter." Yeah, she works here. Yeah. So look, it won't be her first time in the pub. I do know that much anyway.
So she's 18 on Friday, is it?
Friday, yeah.
So very happy birthday, Sophie.
Yeah.
Johnny, am I right in saying so? You have a daughter that's 18. You've also got a 1-year-old.
That's right, yeah.
So what's your 1-year-old called?
Nelly.
Nelly, lovely name. So when Nelly is 18, you'll be 69. You'll be an old fella.
Yeah, do you not think I don't know that? Yeah, I know. So when she'll be having her debs, I suppose, the only way the guy comes to the door, I'll be answering and saying, I'm pleased to meet you. You're Nelly's granddad. So look, that's it.
I think as father-in-laws go, Johnny, you wouldn't be too bad now.
No, I couldn't care less.
No, you wouldn't be too bad now. I'd say now a fella wouldn't be too afraid of meeting you now.
No, as long as he wasn't a real villain now, I wouldn't care, you know what I mean? So
well, very best of luck to Sophie on her 18th birthday. And we've got decent enough racing, so a lot of the week hinges on Cade Boy by the sounds of things.
Look, I'd be like Cade Boy is a probable bet for me, all right. You know what I mean? But I'll be doing other stuff as well, I'd imagine.
Oh, I'd say so, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be playing it by ear, and the racing midweek isn't great this time of the year. So Like, there's not a lot of it as well. And Clonmel is on Thursday. That's not a meeting I really like, you know. I'm not a fan of Clonmel now, to be honest.
Oh, really?
No, do you know what I think about Clonmel?
Oh, God, be careful now. Go on.
It's only it's probably absolute rubbish. The grass is fierce long down there in the racecourse. Do you know that? Do you ever notice that?
Yeah.
Like, I think that when it's testing and the grass is about that high, it makes it twice as testing. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't like it for some reason. I
used to hate it playing football if the grass was high,
Yeah, but I just think, like do you know when they're coming to the last and they're wobbling and
you can only see the jockey's head.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Where's my horse?
Poor old Clonmel, Johnny. Lovely track.
No, I used to like it one time, but not anymore. I won't be in it ever again either.
Well, you won't now, anyway.
No.
You won't be let into the place.
No, I won't. Well, they need Murray.
So there you go. That is Johnny Dineen's week. That was week 10 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365. We'll be back next Tuesday, of course, 6 o'clock for episode 11. I've been David Jennings. He's been Johnny Dineen. Thanks for watching Upping The Ante.